Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Arlandastad, which is a little bit to the north of Stockholm, and I do apologise if any of these Swedish pronunciations aren't quite right. I'm still getting used to the Swedish language, but for this one we are going to go to St Eriks Bryggeri and have a taste of their Oktober Helles Organic, and this was their seasonal beer that they produced for Oktoberfest here in Sweden. And I've heard that this one's a really good beer within the kind of Helles style. It's got a good rating in the Helles style on Rate Beer, and I've also heard very good things about St Eriks Bryggeri as well. So really quite looking forward to this one. Another new Swedish brewery for me to review for you here on the channel. But anyway, as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the video description below. The brewery website, the link to my future reviews that I'll do from St Eriks, and also the Facebook profile for the channel. Please like it, and also my Untappd profile as well. Feel free to add me as a friend on there. Always interesting to hear from you guys. And to my Swedish viewers, please let me know some other beers that you'd like me to try and get a hold of. I'll see if I can get them through Systembolaget. Always interesting to try beers from different countries, of course. But anyway, to tell you about St Eriks Bryggeri, this brewery is owned by the Swedish beer importer Galatea, and the head brewer is Jessica Heidrich. So the brewery is named after an old Stockholm brewery of the same name, which was founded back in the year 1859, and they stayed in production until the 1960s when they fell victim to monopolisation. I think for a period they were actually owned by Carlsberg, but the old brewery was located in Kungsholmstorg in Stockholm, and it was widely regarded as the grandest brewery in Stockholm. And from what I can gather, they actually produced quite a big variety of different beers actually. But in 2001, Galatea acquired the rights to St Eriks brand, and they spent 9 years preparing the ground to basically relaunch it, and this is where the new St Eriks beers come in. So they soon crossed paths with microbiologist and brewer Jessica Heidrich, who became the head brewer after a few meetings with the people at Galatea. And the St Eriks Brewery operates as an independent unit now within this Galatea company. And so in 2011, the brewery was founded officially, I believe, in 2009, but in 2011 Galatea took the decision to invest in increasing the capacity at Sigtuna in Arlandastad, which is now where most of the St Erik beers are produced. So you'll find a lot of these guys share their brewery with the Sigtuna Bryghus, and the Sigtuna beers are also really quite nice. I reviewed one of those for you just a few videos ago. But Jessica says she has the motto of hops and love when it comes to brewing, and apparently she likes to combine American and English brewing styles with kind of Swedish beer tradition. So out of all the different beers you'll get from St Eriks, there is quite a different variety. So just to list a few of these for you, you get the Pilsner, the IPA, the Pale Ale, the APA, the Centennial, the Rauch beer. I have a bottle of that back in Scotland that I need to review, and you also get the Organic as well. And there's various kind of seasonals and collaboration beers too. Jessica Heidrich is actually quite well regarded in Swedish craft beer circles, so when you try one of the St Eriks beers, you are actually getting a beer that is pretty highly regarded in Sweden from what I hear. So I'm really quite interested to try these beers now. But as I say, if you are interested in learning more about the brewery and their beers, check out the brewery website, and I'll be reviewing a few more of those for you in the fairly near future. But on top of that core range, they do have specials, like I said, and various collaboration beers too. So this guy is a 5.6% Helles. It's hopped with American Cascade and also Pearl hops. I'm not sure if the Pearl hops are German or whether they are the US variety. It didn't say on the website, it just said US Pearl, it said US Cascade and Pearl hops. As I say, I don't know what country the Pearl hops come from, and it has a malt base of organic Pilsner malt, so it should be quite an interesting beer. I'll just let you have a little quick look at the artwork of this one before we crank it open. All of the St Eriks beers look somewhat like this. They all have this kind of nice old style bottle. There's a little bit of glasswork on the side of that. I think you can see there's the Queen on the bottle there. I'm not sure how well you can see that in this light, but this is the St Eriks bottle cap, and if I remember rightly, this is the same for all the different beers. I've got the Peach IPL in my cupboard behind me that I need to review, and I also have the Rauch beer back home in Scotland that I bought just before I left to come to Sweden. I never got to review it actually, but should be a really nice beer. But as I say, this guy is 5.6%. It's an organic German Helles style beer, and it's got US Cascade and Pearl hops, and it uses organic Pilsner yeast, organic Pilsner malt, so it should be a really interesting one. Without further ado then, let's get this guy open. Lost that guy, I'll get it in a minute. You can smell a little bit of fruit off that as you open it up actually, but you can see a nice smoky opening as we bring it out of the bottle. The Helles beers are ones that I really have to admit, I really like a German style Helles beer, and that's just as a result of staying in Heidelberg in Germany. My two local breweries there, the Kulte Brauerei and also Vetter, they both had really beautiful kind of, their beers were more like a hybrid between the Munich Helles, which is the more bready variety, and the Dortmund Helles, which is the slightly hoppier one, and they were both beautiful. So the German Helles style of beer is one that I really enjoy, and I always think to make a proper Helles beer you have to really put German hops in it, so when it's got the pearl in it I'm quite excited for this one. So as you can see, this guy is poured with a nice big 2-finger white frothy head. It's a bright yellowy golden colour. There's a good bit of sediment actually visible in this one, which from organic beers I found that when you looked at German organic beers they did tend to sediment quite a lot, so that's to be expected with organic beers in my experience. You can see there is a level of transparency, but the beer is mainly quite hazy. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there, but overall it looks really nice. So let's have a further look at the aroma. So yeah, you have a big kind of bready, yeasty character to this, as you would expect. Nice big white German bread notes out of this one. You've got a good bit of kind of caramel sweetness and maybe a bit of a sort of biscuity or grainy character as well. But there's definitely a kind of caramelly or kind of biscuity, syrupy sweetness to this. But a good bready malt base. That's the most prominent component of the aroma, is that big white bread malt base. The grainy character is kind of mixed in with that. But yeah, there's a definite caramel sweetness to it as well, or a kind of biscuity syrup sweetness. But it smells really quite nice. So on top of that, you've got a good floral and aromatic hop character as well. There's a little bit of grapefruit in there too. It does have a little bit of a noble hop smell coming out of it. But there's definitely a kind of citrusy and grapefruit presence there, and that's the Cascade hop coming out. The Pearl hop I always remember coming across as a bit more of a noble hop, so kind of grassy, a little bit floral and aromatic, and sometimes you can get just a little touch of earthy character out of it as well. But overall the beer smells really nice, a nice big sweet bready malt base on this, and just a kind of little bit of a floral aromatic-y hop coming out of this one. Wee bit of fruit as well, but the beer smells really nice. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this guy. This is the Oktober Helles Organic from St Eriks Bryggeri in Arlandastad near Stockholm in Sweden. Skål! Now that, just on first taste, that is really nice, but as I always say, take a little bit of time and just spread it around your palate before you think too much about the flavour. Yeah, this beer is really quite smooth, and for me, just on one taste, it has a really good balance between the Munich Helles style and the Dortmund Helles. So you've got a good little bit of hoppy character in there, but you do have the bread, and the bread does slightly dominate the hop character in this, but it is quite nicely balanced. So this, for me, I love the Munich Helles style beer, and I'm quite hard to impress with this style of beer. Even just Helles in general, I'm quite hard to impress with it, but I think St Eriks have actually managed to do it. Yeah, they definitely have. Now, this, for me, as a German Helles beer, this is really quite nice. It's just, as I say, without even thinking too much about the individual components of the flavour, it has a really nice balance between that bready malt base that you expect of the Munich Helles, and it also has a bit more of the hoppy character that you expect of the Dortmund Helles as well. It's really quite nicely done. Yeah, when you first take the beer in, it comes across with a bit more of the floral and hoppy character coming around the edges of your palate. That's where you're getting the hoppier elements of the beer. So you've got a nice smooth grassy character. That kind of comes out a bit more as you move into the aftertaste, but at first taste it comes in and it's got quite a kind of big florally aromatic and quite a bit spicy character that comes out of it actually, and there's maybe just a little bit of earthiness in the very back corners of the palate too, but most likely it is more of a smooth grassy character that just spreads its way towards the back of the tongue. It's a bit more floral and aromatic and dry at the front of the beer there, but there is a bit of citrusy flavour in this as well. Yeah, if you just pay attention to a little bit behind the very front of your tongue, you'll get just this little oily bubble coming out there, and it's really nice. You'll feel just a little bit of a citrusy, quite a sharp citrusy flavour coming out there, and there is a wee bit of a grapefruit flavour there too, which of course is from the Cascade hop. But yeah, the hops are really nicely done in this. You get just a nice smooth grassy character and just a little bit more of the floral, aromatic and kind of spicy character actually at the front. But the middle of the palate, where you'll find the malty flavours, it is that big white German malt bread base in there, and it's really nice and quite smooth. There is a bit of grainy character to it, but overall it is really quite a smooth beer. And if you pay attention to the very middle of your tongue, perhaps you can get just a little bit of a caramelly sweetness in there. You always, when these Helles beers, you do have to have just a little tiny bit of a caramel sweetness there, just to complement the bready flavours, but it is really quite nice, this beer. And for someone who is quite hard to impress with the Helles style, the St Eriks Bryggeri really have done it this time. Yeah, really nice. I would, for me, this is a really good session beer. If this was available year round, and it was available in my local bar, this is what I'd be drinking. It is really that good, and that is how much I like the German Helles style of beer. Much better for me. I prefer this style so much more than a lager or a Pils beer or something like that. This kind of beer is really up my street when it comes to sessionability. But in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, it's, I would say, probably mid-bodied, light to mid-bodied, probably more on the mid side of things, but it's got a nice soft carbonation. There's a little bit of an oily mouthfeel there, and there is a bit of a malty sweetness, but the malt characters are very smooth, like I say, over the middle of the palate, but around the edges of the tongue, you've got a nice, slightly dry and slightly bitter character coming out of this beer too, and that's where the floral and aromatic elements of the flavour are coming out. In the aftertaste, you do get a nice little bit of that smooth bready character and some floral aromatic character just around the edges of the tongue. Really quite nice actually, but this for me is a really nice German Helles beer, and if you enjoy that style of beer, particularly if you go to the beer halls in Germany, then this is one that I think you really will enjoy. I'd love to try it on tap, so hopefully I can find it sometime, but the only downside I would say to this beer is that it's a real shame that it's only a seasonal beer, because this is probably the best German Helles beer that I've come across outside of Germany actually. So if you do come across this beer, it is a limited kind of seasonal beer. Do give it a go if you enjoy the German Helles beers. It certainly impressed me, and I'm quite hard to impress with this style, so I would recommend it to those of you who do enjoy it. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. It's been really cool to do one from another Swedish brewery who I've never visited before. I will return in the fairly near future and review their Peach IPL and also the Rauch beer a little bit further down the line, and I will do the other ones over the course of time, but it's been really cool to do my first review from St Eriks Bryggeri up in Arlandastad in Stockholm. Go and check them out, check out the brewery website, and as always, please let me know in the comment section below your own thoughts on this beer if you do happen to have tried it before. Until my next review, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Subscribe to the channel and like the Facebook page as well if you've enjoyed the review. More coming from St Eriks. As I say, I hope you've enjoyed the review, and I will catch you soon with the next one. And to my Swedish viewers, please let me know some other Swedish beers to try. Skål!